They're taking billions in your taxpayer money while turning a blind eye to antisemitism. Harvard, Berkeley, UCLA, NYU, our so-called top universities, are protecting hate under the banner of diversity. And the Biden administration? Doing absolutely nothing. Today we're breaking down the Senate hearing that exposed it all.
Condone behavior at these universities, this condoned belief at these universities, and let me state it again, they believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, and the right to harass Jews. It's what they believe. What you do is what you believe. Everything else is just cottage cheese. Do you think that is consistent with their mission as universities?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So above and beyond the question of money, it is the morality, the purpose of higher education in America, is it not?
That is correct.
Ms. Berry, you are the executive director of the Arab American Institute, is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And according to your website, you're also, I'm going to quote here, a longtime Democratic Party activist who served as a member of the 2016 Democratic National Convention's Platform Standing Committee, close quote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You support Hamas, do you not?
Senator, oddly enough, I'm going to say thank you for that question because it demonstrates the purpose of our hearing today in a very effective way.
Let's start first with a yes or no.
Hamas is a foreign terrorist organization that I do not support, but you asking the executive director of the Arab American Institute that question very much puts the focus on the issue of hate in our country.
Well, I got your answer, and I appreciate it. What is the, you support Hezbollah too, don't you?
Again, I find this line of questioning extraordinarily disappointing,
Is that
Senator.
A no?
You have Arab American constituents that you represent in your great state.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that, but my time's limited, and I apologize, but is that a yes or a no?
A yes or no question to do I support Hezbollah? The answer is I don't support violence, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or any other entity that invokes it.
You can't bring yourself to say no, can you?
No, I can say no. I can say yes.
But
what I can say is your line of questioning.
Do you support or oppose Iran and their hatred of Jews?
Again, I'm going to emphasize Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, none of them is going to,
You can't bring yourself to say no, can
Sir,
you?
I don't support.
It's real simple.
Excuse me, I'm going to, if I may, as a Muslim woman, sir, I'm going to tell you I do not support Iran. But what I will tell you is that this conversation.
I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. You called our decision to cut funding. You called our decision to cut fund. Well, first, what's the United Nations Relief and Works Agency?
It's UNRWA, which is the institution that exists to provide services and aid to the nearly 6 million Palestinian refugees.
And you called our decision to cut funding for them, quote, an incredible moral failure, close quote.
That is absolutely correct. But again, I would suggest that conversation is about foreign policy.
We did that because 9 UNRWA staff members were fired for actually helping Hamas on October 7th. Isn't that the case?
I don't believe that that's correct in terms of...
Let me ask you one more time. You support Hamas, don't you? You support UNRWA and Hamas, don't you?
Sir,
please.
I think it's exceptionally disappointing that you're looking at an Arab American witness before you and saying you support Hamas.
You know what's disappointing to me?
I do not support Hamas.
Bring yourself
I do not support Hamas.
You don't support UNRWA. You don't support Hamas. You don't.
I was very clear in my support for UNRWA.
Hezbollah, and you don't support Iran. You should hide your head in a bag.
Your time has expired.
Welcome back to Jace Manhwa. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and And turn on the notification bell so you never miss when I break down the truth the mainstream media refuses to cover. Now let's talk about this Senate hearing. Senator Kennedy went straight to the heart of the issue. America's so-called elite universities, Harvard, Berkeley, UCLA, NYU, are taking billions in taxpayer money while at the same time turning a blind eye to anti-Semitism on campus. Kennedy asked a simple question. Do these schools tolerate harassment of Jewish students under the banner of diversity, equity, and inclusion? The answer, loud and clear, was yes. These universities claim to stand for tolerance, but they're openly allowing Jewish students to be targeted. And what has the Biden administration done about it? Nothing. Not a single penny has been pulled from these schools. They keep cashing federal checks while students suffer. That is not just a legal violation under Title VI. It's a moral failure. The entire point of higher education is to elevate truth, knowledge, and freedom, not to coddle hatred. Yet the so-called intellectual class is normalizing anti-Semitism and dressing it up as diversity. Then came the exchange with James Zogby, the executive director of the Arab American Institute. Kennedy pressed him on whether he supports Hamas, Hezbollah, or Iran's genocidal hatred of Jews. Now, any decent person would answer that with a simple no. But what did Zogby do? He danced around the question. He lectured, deflected, tried to paint himself as a victim. Patriots, if you can't bring yourself to directly condemn terrorists like Hamas, you're exposing exactly where your sympathies lie. That's not leadership, that's cowardice. Zogby even criticized America for cutting funding to UNRWA, the United Nations agency that employs staff with documented ties to Hamas. Imagine that. Our government finally makes a decision to stop sending American taxpayer money to an agency tied to terrorists, and he calls it a moral failure. No, sir, what's immoral is asking hardworking Americans to bankroll organizations that support the very groups that murdered innocent Israelis on October 7th. Here's the bigger picture. Our universities and our political establishment have allowed ideology to replace truth. They use words like equity and inclusion to justify blatant anti-Semitism. They want you to believe that hating Jews or excusing terror is some kind of protected diversity. That is not diversity. That is hatred. And if we as a country don't draw a hard line against it, we are inviting disaster. Senator Durbin tried to close things out by preaching about decency and democracy. But let me tell you this, there is no democracy when you allow hatred to fester in the name of political correctness. There is no decency when Jewish students are unsafe on American campuses and the White House does nothing about it. We need strong leaders who will defend truth, who will cut off taxpayer funds to schools that harbor anti-Semitism, and who will call out cowardice when they see it. Senator Kennedy did that. And that's why hearings like this matter. They expose just how broken the system has become under weak leadership. So here's my take as a patriot. America must never fund hate. Not in our schools, not in our foreign aid, not in our politics. You're either with truth, freedom, and decency, or you're standing with the enemies of civilization. And I know where I stand. If you agree, hit that like button, subscribe to Jace Manhwa, and share this video with your friends. We're not going to stay silent while our country slides further into moral rot. We fight back with truth.